Hey guys, welcome to day 8 of our Smart Start. And today we are going to talk about social media, right? You may have a lot of experience with social media, you may not. It doesn't really matter. So, I'm going to share some tips that is going to help you grow your experience and help you feel a little bit more comfortable sharing your story online. Because truly, with this business, you don't need to have social media experience. You don't need to have a following. You don't need to have a ton of friends. Um, but you need to be willing to learn and grow and be open to the whole process. One thing with social media is that it is the fastest way to grow your business because you can reach so many people online, way more people than you could face to face. I mean, that's obvious, obviously. But what you need to do as far as your mindset goes with social media, oh my gosh, I'm noticing that they're crooked, is recognizing that it's actually kind of like your storefront, it's where your business resides. So you have to recognize that just like um, a retail store or like Starbucks, for example, needs to be open every day for business, so do you. So, what does that look like? That means you're showing up every day. Does that mean you need to spend all day online? Absolutely not. But you need to make it your job and your obligation to show up on social media. What does that look like? It looks like a post a day, and it looks like 3 to 7 stories per day. That is really all that it takes. Um, Lives are the best way to get a lot of traction on Facebook. So doing a live video about a really cool recipe you learned, or maybe something funny that you did with your kids, or maybe it doesn't have to do with fitness. It doesn't have to be about fitness. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But once a day, get on your page. What page is it? It could be your Facebook personal page, Instagram. Those are the top highest ones. You may want to create a business page. I'm going to tell you to pause on that right now because it takes a lot of time to grow that. Your fastest way to grow that right now is going to be your Facebook personal page and Instagram. And you can find new followers on Instagram pretty easily. Um, and it's a great way to meet new people. So, what you're going to want to do is recognize that your what you're sharing on social media has to do with you. It is not going to be about Beachbody products. Okay, it's not. We're not selling Beachbody because Beachbody has their own. They can sell it. Okay, they can. If someone wants something, some sort of product, they can get online and go to beachbody.com and order it. Beachbody already does ads. You don't need to do that. What you're trying to share is you. You want people to work with you. You want people to be motivated by you and drawn to you based on your vulnerability, your how they connect with you, maybe some things you have in common, maybe there's something that motivates them about you. So that's your goal. You're trying to get them to want to work with you. So we really want to avoid a few things. I'm going to share that in a minute. Um, so I have some tips for you. Okay, sorry, I'm just kind of reading over my notes. Number one, you need to be consistent. Just like I said, it's your storefront. You need to be willing to do the things every day. And I don't want this to overwhelm you because it really doesn't have to take a lot of time. Doing stories throughout the day, they can be little snippets throughout your day of different things you're doing. You can share your workout. You can share, some things you're eating that day. You can share some fun adventures you're doing with your family. You can share a great show you've been watching or a book you've been reading, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And then on your social media page, once a day, once on what I do is I have my Instagram hooked to my Facebook, so it goes right there. And number two, your second thing is make it not all about you. You don't want it to be like Sarah Boldman show. You don't want it to be just about you. You want it to be something where you're relatable, and that someone's going to get something out of it. So when you're about to press post, I want you to look at your post and think, is this something, if I were reading it, would I get something out of it? Am I providing value to someone else? And if it's yes, go ahead and post it. If it's like, no, this is all about me, I would rethink how you're going to do that, because if you just keep posting like sweaty selfies and things like that, people are going to be like, okay, she's working out again. Okay, awesome. That's about what they're not going to feel motivated by that. They're probably going to feel like, oh, I'm not working out. Shoot. And they're going to feel bad about themselves. You want it to be relatable. Like, I didn't feel like doing this today. I had kids screaming this morning, and then XYZ happened. But you know what I did? My group showed up for me. They pushed me. I went ahead and I still did my workout on a really bad day. Whatever. You get the idea. Okay. So you want to be able to tell a story every time you post. You don't want it to be like, okay, look at this. I got great results. Okay, buy my product. That's not to say you're not going to share results and stuff like that, but you want it to be relatable so people think that they can do it too. And make your post like you're talking to someone. Okay. So the way I'm talking to you, you would literally write the words that would come out of your mouth when you're talking to your best friend. So consider thinking of the person on the other side of the phone, your best friend that you would talk to, and what vernacular would you use? So what I want you to do, and this will be part of your homework, but you're going to come up with 5 things that make you who you are, okay, and become really kind of experts on it, which you don't really need to like research or anything like that, but you already are an expert on the things that really drive you and make you who you are. So I'm going to give you an example, and you don't want them to be about Beachbody, okay? Mine is, so my posts will always revolve around one of these 5 things. Kind of being like a hot mess mom, 4 kids. All right, so that's part of my brand. I'm kind of a mess. Number 2 is my love of lifting. I really am empowered by strong women, and I want to be a strong woman. Number 3, I'm a baseball mom. It's a huge part of my life, as we do a lot of traveling with baseball, and all of that. So being a baseball mom. Number 4 is I'm a social worker, life coach. So that self-improvement, personal development is a huge part of my life. And number 5 is wine. I love wine. I'm a wine lover. Okay, so my posts will usually revolve around one of those 5 things. So I want you to think about those 5 things, and those 5 things need to be posted somewhere where you remember that this is what I post about. I'm not going to go off. You want it to be very like specific, and that what it's going to do is it's going to draw people to your team that have a lot of things in common with you. And as I think about like my current team, we all have a ton of things in common. It's crazy. And it's not like we planned it that way. But as I think about it, I'm like, well, if I've been posting about these things, those type of people were drawn into my life. And eventually they end up being really good friends of yours. And that's kind of what happened for me. Third tip, make it super personal, be vulnerable. Don't use stock photos from Beachbody. They already do their own advertising. Okay, you don't need to do that. It actually, people aren't going to really look at that. They'll just kind of scroll by. Oh, it's another ad. Your goal is to make people stop their scroll. So when they're looking, people are looking at their phones. I'm going to open up Facebook right now, and I do the same thing. I scroll. You can see me scrolling, and then I see a really cool picture, and then like this one's pretty funny. It made me stop. So you want it to be eye-catching picture, something that's going to make someone stop and like, oh my gosh, what is that? Or something funny, inspiring, thing like that. And it needs to be about you. It needs to be pictures of you. Your brand needs to be in those photos. So be vulnerable, be you, be personal, talk like you're talking to your best friend. So your homework is, I want you to identify what those 5 things are and post them below. And they need to be, from this point forward, the only 5 things you post about. Okay? Those are the only 5 things you post about. And then the next thing, part of the homework, is make a really great post that has to do with one of those 5 things and hyperlink it in here. Okay? That's your homework. And happy posting. And don't worry, it doesn't need to be perfect right off the bat. This is a learning process. We fail forward, right? That's a great personal development book, by the way. Fail forward, and you will learn, and you will be great. Okay? Have a good day.